Hello, I'm David DeCosmo. Welcome to ECTV Live. I'm joined by Rusty Fender, my co-host. Rusty?
Hey, good to see you, Dave.
Hey, good to see you too, and a great show today. One of our annual visitors back with us, Mayor Mike Lombardo of the city of Pittston, and we are getting ready for the big event in the city. Although I guess as we talk today, we should point out it's a lot more than just one event these days, but the Pittston Tomato Festival. Mike, it has grown and grown and grown and grown.
Like the city, the great city of Pittston.
Well, thank you. First, welcome, Dave and Rusty. It's always good to see you. I sort of mark my beginning of the festival with this event. So when I leave here, I'll be in full festival mode.
That's great.
Yes.
But yeah, the event has grown, and it's been a lot of fun. As you alluded to, Dave, we certainly have added a bunch of other events that run in different times a year, like the St. Patrick's Day Parade and the Art Walks and Trick or Treat on Main Street and our holiday celebration, Paint Pittston Pink. But the festival is a signature event that, we've been doing for years. We've been expanding and adding to it every year. And I think to tee up this conversation, this year's a very interesting year because we're really adding some new parts to it.
Okay, now dates for this year's festival.
So it is Thursday the 15th of August. Through Sunday the 18th. Normal schedule, we start on Thursday at about 5 p.m. With the opening, and then we run full schedule the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday being the 2 full days with events starting early in the morning on Saturday with the parade, the race, and the tomato fight, leading into some of the contests, and then, the normal spectrum of entertainment over the couple days.
And if memory serves me right, 1982, the first one?
I think it was 82 or 3.
I think it was 82 or 3, right? Yeah, this is longer than a lot of folks would remember it being.
Yeah, it's been, as a matter of fact, I had just started college.
I didn't realize it was quite that.
Yeah, 82. Long. 82.
So, but it's been a great event, and as you know, about 18 or so years ago, we moved it up onto Main Street into a new location.
Because of all the development with CVS and Burger King across from the post office, there was nowhere to go.
Yeah, there was no place to go, and we really thought that because we were becoming so Main Street centric, that it would make sense to bring the festival up to Main Street so that we could share some of the traffic with our merchants on Main Street and really highlight some of the efforts and changes.
Well, it's really worked well on Main Street. And boy, talk about highlighting the street. You've been improving that year after year. New sidewalk. The lighting is fantastic.
And the
street lighting.
Murals.
The murals.
And you're right, the period street lighting with the lantern type.
They're
that's
very
incredible.
Bright. Yeah, they're very bright.
They are.
So you feel very safe walking there.
Absolutely.
Thanks, and I think that's part of to make it welcoming and safe. Certainly lighting and a smooth surface make things safe in 2 different ways. I mean, you feel more safe with lighting, obviously, and then to have a nice smooth surface. We're seeing more people using the downtown to walk and to run. There are a couple gyms that are downtown that take advantage of the Main Street now. It's a good place to work out. And this fall we'll be starting another phase that'll start on our northmost point, which is Curry Street, and start to wind its way back the opposite flow of Main Street. And we did it for a reason. The north end of town has a bunch of driveways, and as you know, Main Street's a state road. So our partner PennDOT, we've got to work with them. We've got to permit all of those driveways and do those things that are necessary to move the project. So strategically, we made a decision years back to start at the other end, in the middle actually, and work and do the easiest first, that had the most amount of driveways. And
that makes
now
sense.
that we've become a little overconfident, we're tackling the driveways.
Well, and you can gauge the success of the city by the businesses. Now, once again, you have Turkey Hill, the Luzerne National Bank, and now more development at the fork in the road south.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a bunch of interest from businesses, and it's like everything else. You're going to have some net gains and you'll have some losses, and it's always tough because it's frustrating when you lose a business, not only from the perspective of losing the business, but when you're in positions like this, you get to know the people that run it, and the frustrating part is that nobody sets out to have their business not succeed. So people put a lot of time and money into it. So it really are sad days from the people sense when you lose a business. To me, that's more frustrating than the fact that we've lost a business. The fact that we get to know those people, and we know they put their heart and souls into the businesses.
Yeah, like losing family almost.
It is,
in some
but I
cases.
mean, it's the economy, and at the end of the day, our role is, I think, to provide an environment that's conducive to businesses to succeed, but we can't guarantee businesses succeed, and things come and things go, and there are fads and trends, and you always want to be sort of on the high point of the wave of that, but sometimes
Sure.
we're not. Sometimes the wave hits you in the face.
Now, by and large, public events like the festival or Scranton's St. Patrick's Parade here, Wilkes-Barre, well, I guess they're St. Patrick's Parade too. By and large, they haven't necessarily aided local business because people are out to watch the parades. In this case, people are out now. I think it's maybe a little different with the festival because it's scattered so much throughout that downtown area. You're more likely to stop in businesses as you visit some of the festival activities.
Yeah. Well, and it's a strange thing in that you'll go to Napoli Pizza, say, on Saturday on parade day, and in spite of the fact that we've got 60 food vendors, you have some people that really like that place, and that's where they go.
Sure.
Ricasa, the Tomato Bar, the Knights of Columbus, Fuji, even Sabatelli's, doing business on those days. So if nothing else, I think it's a good, I've always viewed the festival as two things. One, it's sort of a mousetrap. I mean, it gets some new people to come to the city every year and see the progress and hopefully see a business like Sabatelli's and say, wow, I didn't realize there was an Italian market there, or see some other service business that they'll come back to. And then the second piece is that I really believe that downtown is no different than the Kirby. And if you don't program downtown, it's not a good thing.
Good
It's
thinking.
not good to have the Kirby empty, and it's not good to have downtown empty. So, the events help us really fill the seats, so to speak.
Sure.
And you're right, the loss of a business. Folks have their houses mortgaged a couple times. If I had a business and it failed, I think I'd be so disheartened. I couldn't put a sign in the window that said gone out of business. I think I'd put a sign that says gone fishing or on vacation or something. Because, this was my livelihood, and I expected this to go over. And just sometimes things just don't work out in this economy,
The illusion of things, though, and I go through Pittston on a regular basis, the illusion to things to a guy like me is looking pretty darn good right
You're
now.
not kidding.
And a lot
Thank
of
you.
businesses, and I'm impressed by it. You did say when you visited us here last year that you were probably going to be able to expand the show. Understand, folks, that the festival is a whole conglomerate of things that are happening. Different events. Some are simultaneous, I guess. And music is a big part of the festival. And one of the things I've always liked about it is you can come to the festival and there's plenty of things to draw your attention. There's plenty of places to eat, food vendors, the restaurants that are already there. But the bottom line is, if you want to come to the festival, see some of the things, enjoy some of the music, you don't have to spend a cent. It's possible to do that. I don't know you're going to want to, but it is possible to do that. Music being such a big part of it, and I'd like to touch on some of the folks who may be playing if we have that.
Sure.
But in addition to that, you said last year that you hope to have additional venues to present those shows. Has that happened?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is the announcement for this year. See, I'm always careful when I open my mouth too much because
Well, you don't want to
sometimes-
overpromise.
Well, sometimes it gets recorded like this, and I get held to those
You don't want to
things.
overpromise and underdeliver. You want it the other way around. Exactly.
But I believe we're going to overdeliver this year. So we're expanding to the lot. Would be the third tier, which would be the lot that's behind our public library. And
On
what we-
Broad Street. Yeah, that's good.
So what we're doing this year is we're really making a marriage between the festival and something else that has really been a driver for downtown, and that's the arts. I mean, we made a decision 21 years ago to be art-centric and make part of our revitalization process be driven by this whole put the arts out front. The whole idea of creativity and adding life and vibrancy. Before we came on air, we were talking a little bit about murals and sculptures. So what we're doing in the upper tier is we'll be adding a couple more food vendors. We will also be adding about 40 or 50 artists. And we will be doing the second Friday art walk we'll have artists on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday up in an upper area that will be dedicated to the arts. And that idea is, for a bunch of years, I went down to New Orleans to the jazz festival. So for me, that's the perfect world. It's music and art all merged together, and I've always wanted to do that. And now we've had the opportunity. And the other really cool part of it is, and I'm not sure if you've seen this or not, but we just finished an amphitheater that is to the east side of the public library, and it actually is built in Greek style. We call the new amphitheater, we haven't formally dedicated it yet, but we've used it a couple times, and it's called the Slope because it's built in the hill, Greek style, and it's 250 to 300 seats. We'll have movies there and also some live entertainment and plays at some point. But this year, actually, we're going to also use it as a third music venue. And hold me to that, because I have to tell you about the second music venue in the festival, because that's an addition too. So let's stay focused on the amphitheater. Because it's the 50th anniversary of Woodstock, what we're going to be doing is some music that relates to the Woodstock era.
Oh, that's great.
And Lino, who runs the music scene downtown, will be coordinating the music, and it will be with the 60s flair and focus up in the amphitheater, which will be right next to this art area. The other cool part, and I'm hoping to pull this off, so here might be the over-deliver, under-deliver actually, but over-promise. We have just contracted with a granite and marble sculptor to do a piece that's 2.5 feet wide by about 8 to 10 feet tall, called the Upward Spiral, because we feel like we're on an upward spiral, and this whole idea of this granite mass and form is really, it's kind of the idea of revitalization. You don't get there all at once, but you chip away at things, and in the end you have this thing that sort of looks sharp. We always joke, I think Lori Nacito said it best. She said downtown Pittston, the fastest overnight success that took 22 years. So
you're lucky with the Slope, because that was the confluence we talked before of the two railroads. The Laura line, which ran behind Powers Plumbing Supply, and then, of course, I went into the Stove Works across the street and made a loop, and then the Erie was the siding. So it's all terraced. In that area. Perfect use of the geography.
So I need both of you in the next debate that I'm in, because you keep teeing it up pretty easy for me. So
we could sell snow in Alaska if we're at your beck and call.
Put me in for 2 orders.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
So we, as part of that idea and a celebration of that space, one of the things we're creating simultaneously is this new concept called the Art Loop Trail. And part of the Art Loop Trail will actually be in the Loraline bed. So there'll be a spur of this trail called the Loraline.
That's great.
And then there'll be a downtown part. And we're actually going to be, and I may be overpromising again, but we may be unveiling the arched entranceway to that.
We're going to hold you to this next year, so watch what you say.
Well, hopefully, I think I'm going to deliver. I feel pretty confident. I got a stacked hand in my pocket, so I feel pretty good.
That's good.
So we're gonna be showing a bunch of new sculptures that we've dropped up in that area, and it'll be nice because that path taking you up will take you up there. So back to focus. In addition to that area up top, we've also now added the first part of the second stage, which is attached to the physical structure, which is the Tomato Festival headquarters. I say we started because it's not finished. We will finish it in the fall by putting the canopy over it, which will go partially over the building, and it'll finish that structure. But we have finished the stage, and we're planning on probably doing 1 or 2 small acts on the stage, like maybe an acoustic session with somebody in guitar. And I think what we'll do this year is also do the opening ceremony up on the upper level. And the reason we're holding off on full-blown programming is because we really need to see, once we put the tents down, what adjustments we're going to make.
The configuration at that point.
Yeah, because you can never, it never feels the same. Our engineers, Riley, they do a great job, but it always feels a little different in the reel than it does on paper. Even if you can three-dimensional it, it still doesn't feel the same. So we want to see how it feels before we kind of commit to programming up there and see what tweaks we need to make in the tents.
I can understand that, but the very fact that you're going to do this in the one area, the the 60s. I mean, that is absolutely perfect. There's so much concentration this year on 50 years ago.
Exactly. 69 was the big Man on the Moon, Woodstock. I mean,
My marriage.
there you have it. Nothing's bigger, Dave.
Exactly. Of course, there were some negative things that happened that year too. You remember the Kopechny?
Well, and not only that, and also the Tate LaBianca Manson slayings. On Cielo Drive. A lot of bad things.
But there's so much focus right now on that 50-year anniversary that this fits just perfectly in with the festival. And by the way, those renewals of the 60s are drawing big crowds.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I don't think you can expect anything less.
That's the demo that spends money. So that's what you want. Now, everybody in that era is in their late 50s, early 60s, and now you have an extra buck to spend where, someone in college, first of all, doesn't remember, and secondly, doesn't have all that much income at this point. So you're right, that's the perfect demo.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that, and I think the really interesting part is that the festival will be will be the test kitchen for some other things. You were talking about music. For me, music is an important part of my everyday. The world would be cruel without it, in my estimate. In fact, I have this great thing that hangs in my house, and it says, "Without music, life would be flat."
That's good.
And
good play on words.
I look at it every day. And I love music. So we're going to be doing some music things. We're hoping to do a blues and jazz festival next year, and we're also hoping to do some other music festivals that are tucked in. And we're going to probably partner with Wilkes-Barre on a couple events where we might use some sort of spread out venues, and because I really believe in that. We got to work with municipalities that are around us. And
another great idea. And here again, Scranton has its first Friday. You do it at different times. Wilkes-Barre does it at a different time. So you don't compete for the same crowd.
Pittston never stepped on anybody's toes with the St. Patrick's. The Tomato Festival is a standalone, and then everything is catered around the two big bookends. On each side.
Yeah, and it's important to do that because I feel like here one of two things happen. You either give somebody a chance that can't make one of the events to hit an event, or somebody that loves art like me will go to all three of the events. So I really think it's important for us to communicate and really know where our place is in the Northeast, and all of our successes are all of our successes. So we can't stand in isolation and just be proud of the things we do. We need to be able to communicate with both of the cities and the municipalities around us, and because the festival, we don't stand there and there's not a clicker that counts everybody from Pittston there, because obviously more than the population of the city shows up at the festival. So I think you need to be considerate and respectful of the areas around us. And there's so much good stuff happening. Wilkes-Barre just did 3 really cool riverfront music events.
Very successful.
Very successful, yes.
And I would love to see an opportunity. I think our river has always been underutilized, and I'd love to see a way that maybe both of our riverfront parks could communicate, be it a trail or be it a water trail, and tie the music thing in together. I had this conversation 21 years ago with Mayor McGroarty at the time about a craft moving up and down the river doing, like a dinner kind of boat cruise, and I still think that's a viable possibility.
You've got it in Williamsport, the Hiawatha. You've got it in Harrisburg. Now, I don't know what the channel is like between Wilkes-Barre and Pittston.
Well, there's technology that allows you really to move in very low amounts of water, and I think if you time it the right way, we've certainly gotten enough water lately.
It is too bad that the geographic area under the Water Street Bridge, though, is not utilized a lot. There was a lot of money and a lot of planning put into that, and then not only that, but you have a spur, which is the Knox Mine Trail that goes down to Port Griffith as well. Very underutilized, and it's a shame. It's a very historical area.
And I'm going to promise and deliver. We are focusing in on that trail now and expanding, and I've been actually talking to the electeds in Jenkins and Mayor Moss and Duryea, and we actually were down in the county about 3 weeks ago with Dave Pedri, the county manager, and we're looking at that trail, and we're looking at some improvements, and we're looking at doing some programmatic things, because there are people that use it.
That's great.
But it can be used.
There are people.
I've walked
and I have too. Yeah. Absolutely.
But you're right, Rusty, we do need to use it more, and we're going to work on that. And again, it speaks to my point of, it's the empty theater idea. If you do not do programmatic things there, then you really, you need to create sort of some energy to get down there and use the facility. And we're going to do that. And, we just brought on a Main Street coordinator slash manager who's going through training now, and that will be one of the responsibilities that she, along with Sarah Donahue, who is our other event coordinator, will work on. And they both, I think, will do an excellent job, and we'll start to do some
Sarah's
things.
very
Yeah,
dedicated.
she's on our show a lot.
Yeah, Sarah's awesome.
Absolutely.
She does a great job. I mean, she's really brought the parade to a really great level. But I see some large-scale, more massive sculptures down there, and we need to communicate with West Pittston a little bit more too, and do some more collaborative things with
At least the Christopher Columbus statue now is secured. It's behind the railing. The small divider has been enlarged and improved into curbing, so that's going to actually, it's been secured now against any craziness.
And Councilman Argo is very happy. So
Let me ask you about the festival. Have you got any names for some of the music we're going
yeah,
to
I
be?
think some of I believe the Sprazza band's coming back, and I haven't seen the music list yet.
They're so big. They're
Flexi Morgan.
Just at the Sacred Heart picnic, I was a bingo. I'm the yearly bingo caller at it. They draw crowds
Yeah,
that are
yeah,
a major market. The Sprazza band's incredible.
Yeah, so we've got some good entertainment, and I think we'll look to expand that. I haven't seen the list yet, but we'll keep doing that and keep expanding. And that list will be out probably this week. I think Lori's finishing that up with Richie Kozuth at Rock Street Music, and we'll have the details ironed out, and that'll be published.
And there's again so many other events. They have a cute little thing, Little Miss Tomato Festival.
Yeah.
So there's a little beauty contest that the
It's a
kids
little
are
beauty
featured in.
pageant. We do the tomato judging contest.
Get a lot of entries for that?
Yeah, we get a lot of entries. We do all kind of categories to, the best looking to the ugliest to the strangest looking, and that's always fun. And, all of it is about having fun and I think celebrating the idea of community. And I think that's the one thing, we can all step back, and I know we're not perfect in Northeast PA, and we have our bumps in the road, but I think one of the things that we've done really well is not really lost our sense of community. And I think these events, these little church picnics that we have that are really unique to Northeast PA, they're like a little slice of Americana that other places have given away. And I think it'll be a terrible day when we stop doing those little things. And I would love to see, you talk to younger people today, and you talk about the concept of a block party, and they have no idea what that is. But we need to get back to some of those things. And I think to get forward, we need to sort of look backward a little bit in terms of that, because community is key, and that's how you keep an area, I think, vibrant and together. And there's just so much to be said for that. And for me, my favorite part of the festival is that I'm reminded how great the people of Northeast PA are. I get to see friends and family that I haven't seen in a long time. I get to meet new people and hear interesting stories, and get good feedback, productive feedback.
You missed the big event, the big tomato fight at Cooper's Waterfront. That's like
the spotlight.
Yeah, we saved the best for last on that, Mike.
Yeah. Well, the tomato fight's a great event because it's fun, and the other thing that it does at the end of the day, that with a lot of the proceeds that we make in the festival, we support the arts, we support downtown revitalization, and then we support charitable causes. Meals on Wheels, some of the food kitchens, Head Start.
And remember, not an edible tomato has been used in the making of this fight, too.
Correct.
So, yes.
Yeah. We don't want to waste. We don't want to waste food, and it's a topic that comes up every year. And I apologize for the concern in advance that we cause, but we make every effort to make sure we're not doing that. And we really think that the end result that we're able to contribute and we raise money, particularly when we're able to give it to places like Meals on Wheels and soup kitchens that really serve a part of our public that need a little bit extra help. I mean, I'm proud to do that. So while we have a lot of fun, we do something really productive with the mission. And I wanted to mention too, because you brought it up, the Columbus statue actually is hitting the 50-year mark. And we're going to be having a celebration in October, a small parade and a banquet to celebrate that, and do a sort of another rededication. We had the rededication last year after it was toppled. But we're going to do it. We're going to do it a dedication.
Remember when that
so-
was put in, when Kennedy Boulevard just opened about maybe 6-7 years before that, and that was branched out when Main Street was made one way, because it was two-way up until the building of Kennedy Boulevard. I remember when that went in, 1969, 1970.
And the road was changed to Columbus Ave
That's
there.
correct, yeah.
And that's the other thing we're looking at right now. The other piece is we're talking to PennDOT, and we haven't formally engaged yet, but we're talking about changing the name of the Kennedy Boulevard to the John F. Kennedy Memorial Boulevard, only because there are a lot of great memorial recognitions on it. One being the one to my brother and Lenny Insalaka, who lost their life battling the
Right at
fire
the Water
in '93.
Street Bridge, yeah.
And then in front of the chamber, there's a great memorial for those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in the theater of battle. We have Maselli Park down the road. We have John F. Kennedy, the new statue, it's 2 years old, on the boulevard. And we're also talking about doing, like a lot of the other communities have greatly done, we're doing a Hometown Heroes banner project on the boulevard that will extend into the north section of town on Main Street in the Streetscape.
So many great things happening in Pittston, and we're just about out of time. One more time, the dates for this year's Pittston Tomato
It'll
Festival?
be August 15th, which is a Thursday, starting at 5 p.m. through Sunday, the 18th, and we'll end at roughly 10 p.m. on Sunday, the 18th.
Great. Keep up the good
Good
work.
luck,
Have
Mike.
a great
Thank you.
festival. And thank you, Rusty.
Thank you, David.
Mark McGlory, thanks
you,
for
Mark.
the work you do behind the scenes. I'm David DeCosmo for ECTV Live. Till we see you again next time, here's hoping all your news is good.